Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is on the ones and twos. I'm texting people right now. It's like I can't even deal with some of these people right now. You know, friends, family that I love and whatnot, that were okay cheering on this fucking censorship bullshit, calling all the political speech out there, the QAnoners, cesspools, and then trying to tie everything that they say and they do with violence and giving them excuses to censor them down. Why? Fam, once you start opening to the shit floods of censorship for one side, you leave it for all sides. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, I mean, this is why we were so adamant, about being against censorship, even way back when Alex Jones was deplatformed. We were both like, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of Alex Jones at all, but the moment you deplatform him, it's going to send this domino effect. And then that's what started happening. Channels started getting taken down slowly. And we also said as soon as Joe Biden got in, because he got so much money from Google, which owns YouTube, and Susan Wojcicki got on there talking about the elections and how they were going to control what was going on in the elections. And then you get Kamala Harris and all these other neoliberals talking about how you need to take down Trump's Twitter and all of these accounts. And then you get the Democrats continuing to talk about more censorship to harmful misinformation. The problem is that they aren't the arbiters of truth. They're not the ones who should be allowed to decide what you hear, what you don't hear. And we actually haven't peddled the closest thing to that they would consider conspiracy would be the elections, which we had already made private, the election videos that we had done. So it doesn't make any sense. And they tell you specifically, they don't tell you specifically what you did wrong. They just say it's harmful content. So you can't even know what to fix or remove. Basically, it's just bullshit that they're trying to just get your shit taken down. They want to target your economics, because if they target our economics, then they can get us to stop doing this, because they specifically said on CNN and MSNBC there's too many YouTubers that are talking about things that aren't the true narrative, and that they should be attacked, and they should be taken down. And to all the people who said people should get taken down because of the election, all of you can go fuck yourselves, because now they're going to target every single one of us. They're targeting leftist accounts left and right, literally right now.
Yep. And this whole bullshit, they're trying to say, listen, I'm just getting in an argument with my good friend over here, whatnot, and he was trying to kind of saying, well, it's been a cesspool of stuff, what's going on YouTube, and these maggers and these QAnoners, and they're getting out of control, and freedom of speech doesn't mean you can incite violence and stuff. And then you're trying to, draw these lines to say, well, remember what happened in the church in Alabama last year? That has nothing to do with what happened on the intranet. Okay, it has nothing to do with what happened on the internet, and it doesn't make a difference. Listen, once you start crossing that line of fascism, when you start saying that, okay, we have to protect people because of their political speech out there, and they're not inciting violence, they're not telling you to go do it, and you start drawing that line, right. Well, they mean it to do it. They just did it to the president. They just did it to us. They're going to continue to do it. This is ridiculous. Once again, you said big tech shouldn't be the arbitrators of truth, right? They shouldn't decide what is right or what's wrong. That's for you to decide. You, ladies and gentlemen, the citizens, not them. But they did this, and I told my mother this. I said, Mom, Joe Biden becomes president, our channel will be at least taken down. At the very least, it will be demonetized, and they'll try to cut our monetary source, so we won't do this full time. So what we need you to do, ladies and gentlemen, more than ever, because I'm saying it with serious conviction today and some serious passion. I know I've been saying this a lot of times, and we make the jokes, I'm a civil liberties guy and all that shit, but this is serious right now. They just took away a third of our income today, this morning, about an hour ago. Why? What did we do? What did we say? Are we really in the realm of causing violence and stuff? This is ridiculous, but you see who else they take down, and they're just starting to go through it. Ford Fisher, all these other people, we're going to go over it. Franco, we're going to go over them all right now, but do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, and you guys have been awesome. We have 103 subscribers on our Rokfin, Rokfin. That is the platform. That is the saving grace for us. I'm so glad we joined this platform over a year and change ago. Thank you, Ron Placone and Graham, who made us get onto this, and we turned Niko onto this. This is a platform right here that is really helpful for us, ladies and gentlemen, because they don't censor what we have to say. We had an argument back in the days when it came to the debates. when it came to certain events, Super Tuesdays and stuff, especially the debates. The debates back in the days when I was growing up were considered public access, where anybody can use them, fair use. It is selecting the person who's going to run the free world, and the public has interest to it. So if we commentate over it, it should be legal. But they've gone a step further now, saying what you say on your own private channel with your own people is no good, and we're going to cut the cords.
Yeah.
Johnny, you got anything to say about this? I want people to hear your initial. We get the camera back soon, so we get on Johnny's pretty face. But Johnny, your thoughts on this right now? You're 20-something odd years old. I'm 47. So it's a little bit stunning to me because I lived through a period where we had a lot of talks about free speech, and I thought we got past the flag burning bullshit. This was way back before Clinton and stuff, and.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, fams. You guys are right. When they took down Alex Jones, that was going down the slippery slope. We don't agree with a lot of what Alex Jones says, but he has the right to his free speech on the platform.
Yeah.
And we need to nationalize YouTube, and I'm really thinking that we need to have a a protest at YouTube, because this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's why they're going to still milk this. They're going to milk this COVID situation. They're already doing it here in where we live. There's stuff still closed down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're going to, the 100-day mask mandate, this is serious, and they're going to tell people to stay at home and keep them frightened. And when you have all those people who were on those QAnoners or whatever they were, or those conspiracy theorists, or just people who think differently than just what's in the mainstream, who are saying, well, back in the days, people used to commiserate together, get together, congregate, talk about what's going on in bars and restaurants, and make plans, and then go out and take it to the streets. So a lot of people said, well, that's what COVID was also about, milking the fact that people can't come together and speak against this great reset right here, what they're trying to do. This is a great reset, what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase dissenting voices. So the state, along with big tech, who's merged together, which is real fascism, can control what you hear, what we say, and what the plebs hear.
Yeah, I mean, this was expected. When Graham got his channel demonetized, I was like, we're next, because we have very similar content. We talk about similar subjects, and it wasn't around the realm, and so we were like, yeah, we're next. And then we saw this today, like an hour ago, and then somebody had asked me, are you still monetized? Because I got demonetized. And then today, now I'm seeing all of these accounts, they just said Progressive Soapbox is also demonetized. So now we have Progressive Soapbox, Franco, Ford Fisher, Graham, us. Who's next? Everybody, because we all have very similar content. Now, if you don't really push the envelope and report truth, you may slip by. Like, if you're not really targeting the Democratic Party, if you're not talking about foreign policy, and if you're not talking about civil liberties and the national security state, you might get a pass because they might not see that as a threat.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about those big things, like we're talking about like foreign policies, national security, state, civil liberties, and then the Democratic Party criticisms, you're going to be shut down. And that is fascism, because so many people sat here on their fucking high horse saying, I'm voting for Joe Biden to stop, the deportation of immigrants. That's continuing. It's continuing just like it was before. Oh, I'm voting for Joe Biden because Donald Trump is a sexist, racist, homophobe. Okay, Biden, we know his record. His record says otherwise, correct? And so now they're like, oh, yeah, well, at least Biden is going to stop fascism, these fascist white supremacists. Well, you see, those are a few people that exist, and they exist, that Trump was kind of dog whistling to many times, right? Nobody's going to deny that. But this type of fascism that they're making you ignore while getting you focused on the boogeyman still, if it's not Trump, it's his supporters. If it's not his supporters, it's a bunch of, people, insurrectionists, etc. Those people that they're making you focus on, they're not the huge danger to me as a working person, or to you. The people that are of huge danger are the people that control this, that control YouTube, that control the mediums, that control exactly what goes on behind the scenes and promote this cryptic fucking fascism that we're seeing right now. It's cryptic fascism. We live in a fucking fascist failed state right now.
Yeah. And let me just say this much too. It's not only just about what you say, it's what you don't say. Notice that David Dole and Pac-Man and all these other guys that just rag on Trump 24/7. TYT, rag on Trump 24/7. Oh, let's elevate that. Let's boost them. Let's put them up. But while other people on the left who are saying, let's be critical of the people who allow them to do these things, the Democratic Party or the establishment, let's shut them down. And I also want to send a message out there to all you neo-progressive people out there that I used to protect all the time and say, hey, man, these people have good intentions. They mean well. You are fucking dangerous. You allowed this shit to happen. Okay? And a lot of you out there with your white savior complex and all your bullshit, you can shove it up your ass right now. Look what they're doing. You just wait. Because the Gestapos are going to fucking come, and they will come for you the second you speak out against them.
And they're not going to look like the Nazi Germany Hitler. That's the thing. Because of what happened before, they want people to fear more of that. So they have you looking in one direction. And while they're doing that, this is happening. This is actually the corporate state merging, right, with the government. Because people can say till they're blue in the face, oh yeah, but they're in a private company. They can do whatever. No, they're not just a private company. They influence the fucking government. Name me a small private business that influences the government the way YouTube and Google do. They actually donate to candidates. They actually influence legislation. So you can't just say that they're a private company. Same with Twitter. So this is now, we're at a different age where these mega conglomerates have so much influence on our public policy. So the reality is you cannot just escape that by saying, oh, these are just private companies. And now we're getting fucking screwed to the T because of this, because we literally, we tell the truth. And they sat there saying that they were going to go after people in the administration. That's why I was more scared of a Joe Biden administration, because I knew that this was going to happen and idiots were going to become cheerleaders to it just because they hated Trump so much. And look where we are now. And people might be laughing, the people who hate us, and say, ha, 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 like that serves you right for saying conspiracy. The thing is, we never said conspiracies here, actually. And the crazy thing is, they can consider anything a conspiracy now. So if you want to make a YouTube channel, another one, blah, 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 like eventually they're going to be like, oh, what you said is conspiratorial, and shut it down. We're entering 1984, and people laughed when I said this. Like, we're entering fucking 1984. Like, war is peace. Like, and it's just unnerving to see how the progressive movement has been sheep-herded into being the next generation of liberals through emotional control. They control people through emotions, through displays. Now everybody was talking about AOC's fucking little drama, and they weren't talking about what people really needed. And now look what happens on the back end. Who's going to be fucking talking about this? Now everybody's so fucking hyper-focused on AOC. Like, this is how they fucking do things. Narrative control, people.
Mitigating damage, man. Mitigating damage. Is this mitigating damage? And as soon as I speak out against it, I'm told it was because I'm a white male with privilege, and that's why I have the feelings I want. F you. Look at what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. And this is just the beginning. This is the great purge. It's coming on. And it's just totally disgusting. You stand behind this shit?
Yeah. Even if you disagree with us, you have to we have the right to say things we say, and everything we say on this show, for the most part, like, unless we say it's our opinion, we back it up with sources. And the funny thing is, even the election stuff we did, and some of the things we put only on Rokfin. So this is crazy. It's probably our Epstein stuff doesn't help either. No.
But it was so long ago. We haven't even talked about it in God knows how long. It's been over.
Everybody talked about Epstein. We would have to go to see if they shut down other channels that talked about Epstein, because we have lots of views on our Epstein stuff.
They start people with the momentum, like we talk about it. Remember the whole thing with the Robinhood stock when we talked to the gentleman yesterday, Gavin Mario Wax? It's about stopping momentum. You stop momentum, you shut everything down. Frank Analysis was starting to gain momentum. He was starting to get out there. People were starting to know him.
Yep.
He was starting to tickle people in the wrong way that he was going after him. Twitter, you can just see his YouTube channel getting ready to take off to start getting that. We see those things when they springboard and stuff like that. Graham, he was at a 79,000, 80,000. He was about to start springboarding some more. He was doing well, working his way up. They stop and slow down your momentum as much as they can because they don't want you to get the voice out there. They don't want a dissenting voice against what they got to say. And they have millions. They don't give a shit. The whole thing about YouTube is whatnot is like, you could shut them down. They don't care. These people are going to move over to something else because they're all connected. They're in one big club, fam, and we ain't in it. And like you said before, George Carlin said, they're not coming with Gestapo boots and helmets and stuff like that. They're coming with jeans and Nike shoes and whatnot. They're coming cryptically, and baby, they are here.
How else would you? Otherwise, you'd recognize them, right? This is a different kind of mask that they wear, and it's an open mask. It's a pretty face mask. It's the same thing with the imperialism of the Democratic Party. It's the same type of imperialism. It's just a prettier face on imperialism, and that's why they want to shut this channel down, because we say shit like that, because we tell you the truth. It's fucking
Biden.
crazy.
We gotta vote for Joe Biden. We gotta mitigate damage because Orange Man bad. No shit. No shit, there's not one person in this studio over here that ever said go vote for Donald Trump. But you got to be able to look at things and recognize. Are you serious? 16 million he took from big tech, and they were censoring the Hunter Biden story left and right. And whether you believe it or not, it was a fucking sign that says, look at what they're doing, and if they can do this to them, they can do it to anybody.
And not to mention the fact that that from that moment on, the election was already manipulated, because you couldn't get people access to the real information on Biden's record. So you're manipulating now giant platforms. You're manipulating what gets on YouTube. You're making journalists have to quit their jobs because they're not allowed to talk about that. And we're in an age where they've gotten parts of the left, and I mean the left, to cheer this on, because they would rather have an authoritarian state than have people they disagree with. And so that is extremely dangerous, because I don't think America is necessarily going to be the country where, we get a right-wing white supremacist in power in the same way that you think it's going to be Hitler. I think it's going to be somebody that pretends they're not racist, that pretends that they're inclusive, that pretends, that they're all loving and encompassing. No, not Snow.
In the garden.
Coin.
But Snow in the garden is all soft. These people are out here to attack us and our way of life. I thought Snow was trying to be like elegant with the, with the manicure and looking at the roses. And it's like, these people are vicious and they're coming for us. By the way, guys, over on Rokfin, you guys are joining in. We already have 42 people there. Let's try to get to 100 today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send a sign to YouTube that they're not going to shut us up. They're not going to slow us down, that we will prevail. I'm not just saying what we say is right. I'm talking about the people, that we have a right to our voice. No matter what they say, this isn't a private company. These places have become the public square.
Yep.
And that's it. So that's why they should be nationalized. And I'm saying don't even nationalize these assholes. Just shut them down. Let's crush them. And let's crush the monetary system. Let's get on over to Rokfin.
If we don't get nationalization, shut it down. Yeah. And we need to organize protests with all independent media, 100%, because this is, they for too long they've gotten away with this, and because they have Google, they're Google basically we're trying to take on Google because Google owns YouTube, and so Google is they control everything. You go on Google, boom, they control your emails, they control all these things. Like this is like the monsters we're fighting, big tech. That's the real fascism. That's your real enemy. It's these people behind the scenes, the very few elites that control 90% of the media. 6 companies own 90% of the media. Yeah. It's probably more now because all these people have combined and etc. Like, this is insane. Johnny, did you want to show what they actually told us?
Yeah, so about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago, we got this email. It says, "Hi, the Convo Couch. During a recent review, our team of policy specialists carefully looked over the videos you uploaded to your channel, the Convo Couch. We found that a significant portion of your channel is not in line with our YouTube partner program policies. As of today, your channel is not eligible to monetize, will not have access to monetization tools and features, super chats, and ad revenue. Please go to your monetization page to read more about that." Okay. Wow. We know this is tough news, and sometimes we make difficult decisions. We have a responsibility to ensure our community is safe for creators, viewers, and advertisers. At the same time, we understand that we may have unintentionally made mistakes. We'll be able to apply again in 30 days. So you go to monetization. Your channel is no longer eligible to monetize. What should you do next? Review our feedback. They're saying harmful content, fam. Content that focuses on controversial issues and that is harmful to viewers. What? Harmful content? Hold on, let's learn more. Let's learn more about harmful content here. Harmful content.
Yeah, what do they classify as harmful?
Because everything is so broad and ambiguous.
On purpose.
On purpose.
They need to get sued. This is like disgusting.
Somebody just made a tweet about us.
Shocking content.
I'll put it in the folder.
I don't see anything about harmful content in here.
Listen,
So
we know this is bullshit, right?
bullshit.
We know this is vague, bullshit, it's broad, it's harmful content, and they don't tell you what specifically is going on.
It's harmful to their fucking pockets and their
Exactly.
fucking, like, they're pissed off that
Their narrative, it's harmful.
their fucking narrative is getting exposed. That's the harmful content. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not being harmed, you're actually being educated. And that's what they're afraid of. It's just fucking disgusting. I know we have
Let me run through these super rays real quick because there's so many of them. I don't want to get them out of the thing.
Hey,
and
we
then
have Jackson on.
Yeah, we have Jackson.
we're gonna have
waiting,
Jackson on.
But we have to finish this segment.
Okay,
we'll show
all right,
the
go ahead.
tweets. We'll show the tweets.
Yeah. Let's. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. I apologize. I also put another tweet in there that somebody made a tweet kind of apologizing. So let's go. Let's get to the next one. The first one.
We sent that out as a tweet. Feed said, "What'd you say here, Fee?"
Well, folks, we've been entirely demonetized. Let's see how many people will care about independent leftist media. I said leftist because a lot of people think, oh, it's just a bunch of QAnoners. Media now being directly targeted by YouTube, aka Google, for taking away from mainstream media and telling the truth. Because that's why we're being targeted. Now I hope you understand why I'm extremely anti-censorship. This is why I'm a free speech absolutionist, because I just think that any sort of, budge like thing you give in, they're gonna take it and run with it. And like now every fucking single one of us is gonna come under attack because some of us okayed it in the beginning, and it's not okay to do that. I don't care if you think somebody's Vosh, one of the most vile people I have ever heard, one of the stupidest people that spreads misinformation, trying to tie Marxist theory into capitalism,
into shilling for the Democratic
voting
Party.
for Joe Biden. It's completely conspiratorial. It's completely misinformation, miseducating a lot of young people, Gen Z. I still think the guy deserves a platform to tell his fucking lies so I can contradict them and tell you he's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, as much as I fucking think he is harmful and damaging, I'm not going to sit there and say take him down, because I know that who am I to decide what people fucking hear? Like, this is bad.
Frank Analysis also, I haven't even been monetized for 2 months and YouTube just demonetized me. This is absolutely unfair and predatory for a corporation to go after a small channel like mine who only just began to grow. And we talked about that earlier.
Joe Cicada, he had his channel taken down too as well. Back in the days, he was really doing some good. I forgot what he calls him. He was like something penguin or coyote, our boy. But he had his channel taken down, and he was starting to build momentum. This was a long time ago, and it sacked him. He didn't start another channel up. He kind of went away from it and stuff.
Yeah.
Even then, it happened to Tina-Desiree Berg. At one point, she got sacked. She kind of went away from it, too, as well. She went over to, she was rocking on Rokfin, but, I mean, these are the things that happen. And they're even doing it in Congress. We have breaking news that the House is to remove Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from committee rules. Now, they've been demonizing this woman, but why are they really so mad about her? She's still speaking out against the elections. So what do? Shut you up, silence you, put you in the back end.
You. And she is a little kooky, don't get me wrong, but
yes, but she was duly elected by her.
Exactly. If this starts a precedent where you're removing people who've been elected by the people, you're even more fascist now, because you're becoming a dictator, right?
Yeah.
You're being a dictator entirely.
All right, so we got Ford Fisher over here. Ford Fisher was on the show. What does Ford Fisher do? He goes out and he documents the Boogaloo boys, the
Black Lives
Proud
Matter.
Boys, Black Lives Matter. He's in the streets. He's showing the real truth. So when you got all this narrative going online, you can say, wait a second, let's look at Ford Fisher. He's actually out there documenting what the people have to say, fam.
Yeah, so he said, breaking. After me spending the last week criticizing Team YouTube's takedown of my raw footage from January 6th, they have just demonetized my entire channel. So they're taking down everybody's raw footage from January 6th. So that should be probably something they don't want us to show. And
Why
then
would
he
they
says,
want us to show that historical? That's
because
like
they want to
history.
hide fucking.
Like, what the
Because here's the thing. It's more harmful to them because people aren't saying, wow, these people are awful. They're like, why are they so mad? And they're starting to talk about it. Like, wait a second. And then we talk about what happened all summer when they talked about the Black Lives Matter thing. They're talking about all these people fighting.
Being mad.
You saw the meme of the Black Lives Matter and the Proud Boys giving a dap. That is what they fear more than anything.
Yeah.
The biggest harm that can come to the imperialistic state is its own
uniting.
citizens.
Yep.
The biggest threat is their own citizens because their own citizens lived in a free society, read the information for themselves and say, wait a second, these people on top who are in control here, they're playing us. We got a rigged game right now in Wall Street too as well. We got a rigged game when it comes to our media. Look what's going on. This is fascism.
I said it last night. I said I think we're actually much closer to a class war against these people, and that's why they're trying to divide us. The reason I think we're much closer is because look at what's happening. They're targeting us. They're targeting independent media. They're targeting everybody that they deem vile or harmful in any way by however many broad standards they have. And then they're targeting also people's pockets. They're not giving you a fucking stimulus. You still don't have fucking healthcare. We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. They're thinking if we can't do this, we have to shut down again. Like they're literally discussing shutting down again. Like this, and they're not giving you shit till April. Like, and then on top of that, you have Wall Street blatantly coordinating with the fucking government to rob the little guy when they try to fight back. Do you think people aren't pissed off?
Yeah.
I mean, people are so ready to fucking wage against these people, but they don't want you to think that. They want you to stay divided. They want you to fight each other. This is why, because we've been talking about unity in this fucking channel. We've been talking about talking to people we don't agree with on this fucking channel. We just had the guy that was fucking speaking about that who's a fucking Republican. Like, this is dangerous to them. We are a fucking threat because we tell the fucking truth and we're going to go after these fucks no matter what.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. I'm encouraging some of those people that I called neo-progressives. Let's put up Caleb over here because Caleb shared the tweet as well.
Yeah.
Caleb Maupin's coming on the show Friday, which is going to be awesome. But he said outrageous and stuff. And let me just encourage some of those people on the left. I'm talking to them because obviously, you know, this is when we started. We came out of that whole faction fam of the activists and the people we know on the left and stuff. And seeing some of those people on the left who have kind of like gone along with this ideology and say it's okay because they think that the Trumpers and the MAGAs are so bad and all that shit that they allow the censorship to happen. You can change. You can switch. You can say, you know what? I give you permission to have the courage to look at the people that you're working with and say, sorry, you're wrong. We don't do this. This is not what we do. You have to look at the nuance of the situation. Anybody can have their coming to Jesus moment. Anybody can turn around and anybody can say they were wrong and they're sorry. You can show the next tweet. Johnny, would you like to read it? You want me to read it?
No, you can read it.
Thread. With time to reflect and seeing Silicon Valley censorship onslaught, I regret this tweet I made in the heat of the moment. Whether certain cable YouTube outlets misled audience with dishonest claims lacking real evidence, they shouldn't be targeted. Don't agree completely with the lacking of the evidence and stuff like that. And,
yeah, we don't. Yeah.
You know, I don't agree with that part. But saying that you made a tweet in the heat of the moment and apologizing for it, and it was the tweet we talked about. Anybody can have a come into Jesus moment. Thank you very much, Jordan, because I think this is directly right at us. You didn't mention our names, but we know it was us. And so thank you very much for stepping up and saying you were wrong. Because we said this too when they took down your footage. They shouldn't do that, whether we like Jordan or not, whether we like Vosh or not, whether we like these people or not. You don't deserve to have your voice taken away from you. You don't. Yeah. And I appreciate, and that was man of you to step up and at least do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we can all reflect and see, you know, sometimes we get caught up in anger and heat and like we make tweets and we make things that we don't mean. And, you know, like I totally get that. I mean, I still don't agree with the whole like lacking evidence, but again, that's the whole point. You don't have to agree that on what we say, But to say that people should get taken down, now look what's happening now. Everybody's getting fucking taken down, including so many people on the left that are actually telling the truth, that have actually debunked QAnon. They're gonna go. Yeah. They're all being targeted. Yeah. This was never about the right wing. Even the domestic terrorist thing that they're trying to push. Yeah. That's not about right wingers, guys. It's about you. It's about people. It's about you being angry, and they don't want you to be angry at them. So they have to make up somebody for you to be angry at. Yeah. So that's what is happening. And nobody's denying the obvious issues on race and white supremacy that this country has, but it's systemic. So if you want to change that, you have to change the fucking system. And we can't change the fucking system when we have psychopaths in power.
Yeah. And I apologize for calling you a weasel, Jordan. So I shouldn't have done that, but heat of the moment and angry about this because we knew this type of stuff was coming in. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I'm not changing my views and my point of views. In fact, like we're even talking about hitting the road right now that something might be going on in Arizona with an actual audit and account of the images that we're trying to secure and see what's going on, because we're going to still continue to follow election integrity no matter what. No matter what, they'll never stop us from talking about this shit. We'll never stop.
We'll do it. We did it way before Trump. We'll do it way after Trump.
Exactly.
It's nothing to do with Trump.
Let's bring in Hinkle.
Real quick, just to finish up what Ford Fisher was saying, is that they actually responded to Ford here. He said, I spent the last week to get a reply from Team YouTube as to why they would ban raw footage of the most historic day of Trump's presidency. When they finally replied, I earnestly tried to ask what I could do to resolve the issue. They replied and they said that his video was removed because it didn't include countervailing views or sufficient context of the claims made in the footage. As videos can be embedded across the web, we only allow this content to remain on the platform if there's appropriate context within the video itself.
Unless you say what we want you to say.
Yeah, in other words.
Unless you say what you... I mean, they're telling the journalist what context he has to put it in from what he sees. And in other words, don't tell us what you saw and what you think, what we saw and we think.
Right. No. And Ford, literally, if you watch his videos, he just literally stays behind the camera and asks, like, sometimes he asks questions, but most of the time he literally just puts out what's literally happening. So you want him to spin a narrative is what you want him to do. You pieces of shit. Yeah, you fucking fascistic motherfucking warmongering pieces of shit.
Like, look at that, dude. That's fucking crazy.
I'm going to fucking curse at them until they shut me down because they can go fuck themselves. Like, this is fucking disgusting. We have Jackson waiting, so let's finish this up.
Yeah, and then he said that basically his uncut footage showing the crowd reacting and chanting, fight for Trump, ahead of the insurgency was removed for not presenting a counter view to the president. So that's pretty ridiculous.
So you want people to fucking, not cheer for Trump, basically? Like, I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is... They're so vague too. They make shit up, Johnny. They're just making shit up.
And then they put a foot in their mouth when they actually do answer like that, and they show who they really are.
They show who they really are.
So that's that segment.
All right. So should we bring in?
Yeah. Let me get to the. There's so much shit going on. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get to the Super Rays because there's a lot of them, and you guys have been awesome jumping over there and helping out. I can't thank you guys enough. This is amazing. And, Fiorella was just talking about yesterday about how she loves our audience so much, how they're so educated, they're so awesome, they're so kind, they're so loving, and they're smart. You guys are smart.
Yeah, because I look at chats in other YouTube channels, and, obviously, like, some of the independent media that watch us watch other ones, so those are similar, but other ones that don't, you guys are very, very smart, very educated audience. Smart.
You got to do it. That's from The Godfather, too, when Fredo goes, I can handle things. I'm smart. Smart. Me and my friends would do that. I'm smart. Jeffrey Barker over on the Rokfin giving us the Super Ray, holding it down. Johnny, you're going to have to keep track of the Streamlabs ones.
I got you.
You, Franco, Jamal, Graham. But Jordan will act so shocked. He didn't. He actually turned around and said, I shouldn't have said this in the heat of the moment, Jeffrey Barker. So like I'm saying, anybody can change. Encourage your people, your friends on the left, and all those people who are just going along with the pack because they don't want to be looked at as privileged, as racist, as being wrong, as not going along with the mob mentality. Give them the strength to say, this is not right, ladies and gentlemen. There's nuance to this. Patrick S., thank you for the Super Ray. We love you. We appreciate it. Aaron Mendoza, sorry, guys. Hey, thank you so much for your love. You coming over and doing this makes it that much easier to really pick up our asses off the ground and keep walking on. Thank you so much. AREM, it's a badge of honor to be targeted by the establishment. There's a continuum of the low-grade war against the best on the left. The true progressives, the true leftists, that's what we always called us, because we're still loving, compassionate, understanding. We want to get people off the streets. We want to help the mentally ill. We want to have Medicare for all because it's a sense of compassion. Stay strong, says Kimberly S. with the big, strong muscle. We will stay strong. Dolores Lima, keep up the fight. Spread the truth. Thank you. You keep helping us spread the truth. Guys on YouTube, get over to Rokfin. Look what's going on. We're having a party over here. Bradford T, thank you so much for the love, for the tip. Robert L. Oren, your rock fans will remonetize us. You are remonetizing us. Thank you so much.
You guys.
Look at this name. This Italian. Dara Dorozzi. Dara Dorozzi, K5. Keep doing great work that y'all do. We will. Chino Latino. Just say no to the bootlicking. We will. We will. Dara Di Rozzi. And indie media should immediately coalesce around the general work strike and boycott during U.S. tax week. We have plenty of time to save up between now and April 15th. We do. Let's do this. Let's do it, guys. Let's do this.
I'm ready.
We're going to be talking to some guy who puts together protest. Chuckles Provost. Wow, what a name. I love you, Chuckles. Don't stop, Convo Couch. Thank you for standing tall. You're the ones who help us and help us stand tall, Chuckles. We love you and appreciate all you do. Chuckles. Chris McCaffer, Convo Couch. He received a tip from Chris. Thank you so much. Shannon Grau Garrett. Thank you so much. Don't shut up. You think you're going to shut me up? Hell no. And there's 80 people watching. 80. Let's get to 100. Let's bring in our guest today. This guy organized the
Force the Vote.
I was going to say the Rock the Vote. The hashtag Force the Vote rally on D.C. out in front of the offices of these people, these legislators, to say and demand that the squad and all the progressives who don't talk about censorship force Nancy Pelosi to put Medicare for all on the vote for a floor. You know him by name. He's not the Jackson 5. He's Jackson Hinkle. What's up, my man? How you doing?
How's it going? How are you guys doing?
Well, we're fired up because we we got demonetized. So
I heard. I'm so. I'm very sorry to hear that, but not surprised.
Yeah. I think it's coming for all of us, to be honest.
Yeah. It's coming for you too, brother.
Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't, but I honestly, they've targeted way too many people we know now.
Yeah,
so it's, people were asking me like yesterday, are you still monetized? And I was like, yeah. And then today it's like, oh no, I'm not. Okay, there you go. So they're having this war, right? They're waging this war against people who tell the truth, because we're taking their audience away from mainstream media, and they can't have that, and they can't have people thinking for themselves. So, Jackson, since you're here, and we saw you in DC, we saw you at Assange protests, the Force the Vote. There's a divide right now, right? There's a divide on the left, and people are dismissing still a Force the Vote as a terrible strategy. Yeah. But Americans right now, we still don't have healthcare. We still don't have a stimulus. We still don't have anything. So how are you navigating these waters right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild that there's people who are still out there today who are like, no, we shouldn't be fighting for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. We shouldn't be pressuring Biden when he's literally doing nothing good and everything wrong. And people are suffering. People, even in, very affluent Orange County, California, where I'm broadcasting from today, are suffering. People are not able, as many people probably know firsthand, even in the audience, people are struggling to put food on their plates, keep a roof over their heads, keep electricity going in their house or their apartments. It's wild, but we got to keep doing what you are all doing at the Convo Couch and continuing the pressure, even in the face of all these obstacles that we're up against, like demonetization, like the shadow banning, like the just banning of content. We need to continue fighting people like Biden, the boutique left, Silicon Valley billionaires, and just continue with our messaging, because we will continue to win more and more people over if we do that. And regardless of what you think of him, of his politics, he's a bit more center than I think than we all are. But Kyle Kalinske, he always gives the same advice to people who ever want to start a news show or get their voice out there, or start doing advocacy. And that's just keep talking, keep pressuring, keep making your voice heard. And if you do that long enough, people aren't going to be able to shut you out because your voice will resonate with people.
Well, that's going to be put to the test right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As we're talking, they're trying to shutting us down. And I really think, we've been having what we call the young, new, hot voices out there right now. That's why we had to get you on. We did Steve Poikonen, Frank Bruno, but it seems like they go after people and they kind of shut them down as they're getting momentum. On another note, though, I want to stick on this force to vote, because this is important, too. We talk about freedom of speech. We talk about foreign policy. Healthcare is very important to some of us. You know what I'm saying? What do you think is next for the force to vote movement? And if that doesn't work, what is the best way to get healthcare right now in this type of climate?
Yeah, so it's really funny because in probably late February, this month, in the House and in the Senate, all those progressives who we were cheering on to force the vote, we were there to support them in doing that if they had chosen to do that. They're going to be introducing Medicare for all legislation in the House and a mirrored piece of legislation in the Senate. So when that time comes, you'd think that the appropriate thing to do would be to force a vote on the policy, not just to introduce it and then sit on your asses and do nothing for the next 2 years of this session of Congress, right? But that's what they'll probably try to do. But we need to be there to, again, try to leverage this moment and encourage them to do what you should be doing if you actually believe in a policy, and secure a House floor vote on this. And we have control of the House. I say we, but I'm not even a Democrat. Democrats have control of the House. Democrats have control of the Senate. This is their policy. They need to actually act on this. And it shouldn't take all of us pressuring them to do that. I think everyone knows that, but unfortunately that's the case. So we're going to be continuing that pressure. And I know you'll be there with all of us in doing that, because you were there in DC, and continuing to pressure these politicians like the Fraud Squad, like members of the CPC, Congressional Progressive Caucus, to actually take a vote on the policy in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, what perfect time? I mean, what better time than now? And they're talking about shutting down again, because our numbers are still high, and not just California, but all over the United States. Angela Merkel actually made an announcement saying that they might shut down again, and people are encouraging that. Wherever you stand on that debate, right? People need money. People don't have anything, and you can't even go to the doctor. And so I think these are issues that we need to, a lot of these people who on the boutique left who sit there and they talk about, well, you need to organize it. No, there is organizing going on. There should be a momentum of push for direct action right now, because it's not enough right now, like you said, to wait on them to sit on their ass and then push papers. We need to put physical pressure on these people, make them physically uncomfortable through direct action protest in order to get this to happen, right?
Yeah, I laugh when you say that, because we applied probably the most bare minimum pressure that we could apply while still being supportive during the force the vote protests, right? We had a group of a few dozen people out in DC who were like, hey, maybe you guys should take a vote on this policy, considering 186 people are dying every day in this country due to a lack of access to basic health insurance, probably more, because again, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And even that, AOC was like, that's violence. Can't do that. Sorry, that's violence. Can't pressure me to make positive change in this world. I just find the whole thing to be absolutely ironic and so disingenuous. These people are in their responses to what we're trying to do. And it makes everything really difficult, because then you have these boutique left fraud squad supporters in independent left media who are cheering them on and who are going along with this messaging of yeah, no, we shouldn't be fighting for Medicare for all in a pandemic. But it's time to turn up the heat. people are dying every day. And I just, they shouldn't expect us to be that nice moving forward, because this is a crisis and we're living through multiple crises, also economic crisis, health crisis. And if we don't turn up the heat, then they're just going to keep giving us the same responses.
Yeah.
And he's not turning down the heat over here, fam. I got to tell you this much. We went out to D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very curious. Like, all right, we're going to meet Jackson Hinkle. What's going on? And when you were talking on the steps and Jackson was giving the police the fingers and like, get out of my face, and Johnny was running around with the camera getting in the cops' faces, I was shitting my pants over here.
No, Jackson a badass.
Jackson
badass.
was like, I was
Young
like,
badass.
oh my God, he's really about this stuff. And I'm like,
straight talking to the police. No,
right?
No problem. No problem.
And
No
I'm
issue.
like, Jackson, let's get to the park. My chicken ass. I'm like, let's get to the park over here. And Fiorella was screaming with the bullhorn. And there was more cops surrounding us than there were that were on the Capitol building the next couple days later. It was like ridiculous. And literally, there were more cops, I thought, then. And you know what I'm saying? It was for real, but there was definitely a divide. I think there was a line drawn in the sand. And I know they're calling us now the Dore left, right? The ones who kind of agree with the force to vote.
Doorknobs.
The doorknobs, right? We're all doorknobs, right? Because, he came up with this plan. You came up with the protest, and we're all for it. We've been saying shit for this like a long time. We've been saying with all these stand-up bills for rent forgiveness, why aren't the squad looking at Pelosi and saying, put it up on the floor? This is rent and mortgage forgiveness. It's a standalone bill, 2 pages. They'll never do it. So this was just shining the flashlight on there. But obviously, in lieu of what's going on with AOC now talking about her trauma and all this other stuff, and do you think that we're being too hard on AOC right now? I mean, because we don't have health care. People are getting evicted. We see what the media is going on, and as AOC is just pointing the finger at the Republicans and saying it's them.
Right.
What do you think your thoughts are on that? Are we being too rough right now? Should we be a little bit more softballish and sensitive and nice and put more flower emojis on our Twitter? What? I mean,
here's the thing. I think that AOC could potentially have been very frightened and been experiencing real trauma in that moment. There's some interesting stuff coming out now surrounding where she actually was during the during the break-in of the Capitol, and I'm actually not sure which building she was in. I don't know where Katie Porter's office was, but that's going to be interesting to look into, and maybe you have more information on that than I do. I just haven't looked at it yet. I've had a hectic morning, but I know that's been bubbling on Twitter this morning. Yeah. But the thing is, you can't just be focused on your own personal issues when you are a member of Congress and there's a pandemic going on. People don't have health care. There's people are struggling to stay in their homes, and crazy amount of people are falling into unhoused situations. So it's like your job, first and foremost, you took an oath to serve the people, to represent your constituents and Americans as a whole. So if you're not doing your job of fighting for Americans and you're not living up to your campaign promises, then you deserve criticism. Okay. And there's this whole thing going on right now about AOC, this whole controversy with her feeling this trauma, and that's real trauma. And some people are using that as a shield almost to protect AOC from any criticism, legitimate criticism, surrounding her lack of fight for Medicare for all, or her really subtle criticisms of Joe Biden not giving us $2,000 stimulus checks. Like, no, that you can't use that to shield her where she's doing poorly in her own job, right? So I think if people want to make her or stand in solidarity with her surrounding what took place at the Capitol, fine, go for it. If her story lines up with the truth and what actually happened, then I stand in solidarity with her too. I think that's terrible. The fact that the cop told her to go down the baseline or to the first floor in the Capitol complex, and like she didn't know where she was going, and it was this crisis moment. Clearly, there's a lot of things going wrong there, right? But the fact of the matter is you can't use that to shield her from real criticism surrounding her failures as a member of Congress. And if her trauma from this event is getting in the way of her advocating for these policies, then maybe I'm not saying she should do this, but like maybe she should consider taking a leave of absence if you really feel like you can't do your job.
That's what I was gonna say. She consider quitting if she can't take the heat. Quit. I'm sorry. When did they become the protected class?
Absence, like that's the thing. Like,
what is this?
I agree with your assessment. I completely agree. I mean, especially as a woman, I think women have to be more vocal in this circumstance, because a lot of the times, you guys can't really, you can't, you'll say one thing and then they'll turn around and say you're being sexist. And for me, it's like, I stand with her on terms of the trauma that she may have had from sexual assault. I totally understand that. I'm not questioning that aspect. What I am questioning is why it's being used and manipulated and politicized to now distract from what many people are feeling. People can't go to therapy right now. There's plenty of Americans who are depressed and are really mentally unstable right now, and they don't have the money to go to a doctor or a psychologist or a therapist. And like, it seems like we have elevated politicians in America to a level of just putting them on a pedestal and this stand where, like, oh my God, we have to. I saw somebody on Twitter say, well, now we need to make sure that we get mental help for all of our staffers. It's like, wait a minute, we don't even have fucking health care for people who go to the hospital. We can't, people are dying. Wait a minute now. Like, why? Like, that's my issue right now, And I think right now too, Jackson, there's a divide largely on the left between those of us who want class solidarity and who are focused on uniting people, who are focused on, like, if you're for healthcare for all, come join us. If you're for Julian Assange, come join us, versus people who want to only talk to people they agree with. What is your take on this, and where do you stand as the best way of moving forward in this precarious time in terms of like working class struggle?
We got to stay focused on the issues. And I forget, I think it was a YouTuber by the name Unapologetic. Do you remember their name?
He's Unapologetic on YouTube. I think that's his Twitter name, and that's his YouTube name.
Yes. So they pointed out something really interesting, and I was like, duh, when I saw it. But I think it was maybe in response to one of your tweets, or maybe you retweeted them. But they said, like, working class people have to go through these sorts of struggles every day. You think a worker at a gas station has never been robbed at gunpoint? You think a bank teller has never been put in a situation where they thought their life was going to be at risk? Obviously, there's a disparity in the wages and salaries of those two workers, but the fact of the matter is, like, working class people have to go through these sorts of things on a daily basis and be expected to perform at the same level, at the high level of their job the next day, right? They don't have the time to have, therapists come into their work and console them and help them, get through this crisis or this emotional trauma. And that shouldn't be like that. I'm not saying that we should have those same shitty standards for like politicians. I'm saying we should have the politicians or the standards we have for politicians and staffers for working class people, right? Yeah. So I think if we continue staying focused on the issues, the overwhelming majority of Americans agree on progressive policies, leftist issues. I think that's going to be a big plus for us. And really just, let's not let the circus of Washington, D.C. get in the way of what we're trying to accomplish. And also, let's just point out that what politicians have access to right now, government-sponsored healthcare, they get all this assistance when they go through a traumatic event on the job. Like, all of these things should be guaranteed to working class people. And unfortunately, we just don't have that right now. But I think those are good things that we should keep in mind moving forward.
Well, I would kind of sprinkle a little bit more stuff on that there, where we have to keep talking about the issues, but I think we have to also eat the rich, or maybe eat the elites. Maybe we got to eat the elites. We should let's eat the elites and stuff. But and all those things you were saying were so true too as well. You talk about the working class people who can't get therapy. What about the 750,000 homeless people now we've grown to in America? Aren't they traumatized? Aren't they scared? What about the 80% of Americans who work paycheck to paycheck and through this pandemic have gotten no rent relief? Don't know what they're going to do. Aren't they scared? Aren't they traumatized? All those, when we were doing the Force to Vote, and after Spee's powerful speech, I did my cheerleading thing, but one of the things that really made me get warm and like just really upset me inside is the fact that parents out there have to decide how much and when and how much insulin they can afford for their kids every day. And I'm thinking about a mother or a father having to go through that in their mind. You talk about trauma, and I don't want to downplay anything that happened, but if I was a civil servant, I'd be putting my life on the line for those people out there. I wouldn't be making about me and my safety and my feelings. No, I'm there to work for the masses. I'm there to correct the problems for everybody who's poor and suffering and dying in this country, and for all the people that we allow to be bombed on a regular basis.
Yeah,
that's
who
we should be standing up for. Not, oh my God, you know. I mean, I don't want to downplay shit, but also let's tie this into not just the fraud squad, all those people and stuff, and those Democrats that we have, the progressives that we have in the Democratic Party. Are you done supporting them, or should we just go our separate ways right now? Are you going to continue to support them, I should say?
I will always give credit where credit is due. If there is a far-right member of Congress who does something good, I'm giving them credit. You know, I'm going to applaud them. I'm going to support them in whatever effort they do. And when we were in D.C. together and we were outside, was it the Department of Justice during the Julian Assange decision, we had a bunch of great speakers out there. And I wanted to highlight when I was speaking the fact that, hey, we've had a few select group of Congress members who've actually come out in support of Julian Assange. Tulsi Gabbard, Thomas Massey, I think Matt Gaetz also. There may be a few more, but it's like some of those people I don't agree with on most every issue, with the exception of like civil liberties, maybe anti-war policy, things of that matter. There's probably a few more I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
I think you said Rand Paul too. I think you said Paul, because I remember that speech, and I was like, look at Jackson Hinkle. He's not afraid to throw out a couple Republicans here in front of people. I'm liking this guy.
But that's what we need to do, because if we actually hope to address the systemic crises that we have that are affecting working class people today in this country, we need to be able to unite right and left and fight for those issues, because the majority of people agree on the solutions to those issues, and the majority of people in this country are actually, being impacted by these issues. So, Fee, that's why I liked when you tweeted out that thing surrounding like we're closer than ever before at uniting people all across this country of all creeds, backgrounds, political affiliations in a class war. I totally agree with you on that, but it's like also the class war has been being waged by the top 1/10 of 1% for years now. We're just for the first time going to be fighting back. So, I guess like uniting people and kind of cutting through this BS of like political labels and political affiliations and just staying focused on actually addressing these issues is the best way to move forward. And if progressive politicians want to help us in that fight, then awesome, I will support you. But the fact of the matter is, like, these people are terrible on most issues. And even the issues where they say they agree with us, they're not fighting with us, right? Yeah. So, and you can look to everyone points to the squad always as like the progressive darlings of the Democratic Party. These people are not progressive. You look at their foreign policy, you look at their like AOC's opinion on Israel and Palestine. You look at their real lack of support for the indigenous protests in Bolivia. You look at their deferring to party leadership on Venezuela. Like, all of these things are sickening, and they sound like neoliberal corporatists when they talk. But many on the left today would consider them like the progressive champions of our party, of the Democratic Party, which is absolutely baffling to me.
Yeah.
And, right now that the Democrats have caved to potentially lowering the stimulus, because they already did. They lowered it from $2,000, Joe Biden lied, we know, to $1,400. And now they're actually working with Republicans. They're going to be working with Republicans to potentially lower it to $1,000 because Republicans want it to be $1,000. So this is the third stimulus check update. And, of course, like the Senate voted ahead by one. I think it was by one vote. They got voted ahead. Yeah, 50-49. And the GOP wants $1,000, and the Democrats have already said, well, we're gonna work with them, right? This is why we as leftists, as progressives, as whatever you want to call yourselves, you don't start with pocket change. You demand so much more, because these people never had any intention on giving $2,000. They literally blatantly lied, and now they're going to bring it down, and it's going to be April before you get your 50% discounted stimulus check. I mean, if this doesn't get people to really go against the establishment, I don't know. Is it time for a strike, Jackson? Is there potential to do something like a general strike?
I always support the idea of strikes and general strikes. The question is, like, how do we actually do it?
Right.
How do we get many of the union leaders, both national and local, who in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases don't actually align all the time with the needs of their workers, don't want to press up too much against those in power? How do we actually make it happen? And that's a whole nother discussion. But yes, I totally support the idea of a general strike to get what we want. In the past, this sort of stuff has proven to be extremely, successful. Tax strikes as well have proven to be extremely successful. These are the things that we should be considering. Unfortunately, so many Americans are just, beholden to this ideology that we can't get more and we can't actually fight for ourselves. Right. And I think that has a lot to do with the lack of education surrounding labor history in the United States. Like, I grew up in a pretty nice school district with good teachers, and I never once heard about the struggle of the Wobblies or whatever they're called in the IWW. It's like, I never heard about these things in my history class, my AP US class. Heard a lot about our founding fathers, but nothing about labor struggle. So it's been ingrained into each and every one of us who's, I guess, been educated in this U.S. empire, that we can't fight for ourselves. I will say there's one caveat to that. Thanks to social media, or at least what we have left of it, we're able to see what working class people all across the world have been doing in fighting for their rights and for their needs over the past 2 years. You can look at the yellow vest, black vest movement in France. You can look at what's been happening in Bolivia, what's been happening in Chile, in Iraq, like all across the world, working class people are standing up. And I just saw this morning, I don't remember who initially I saw retweeted, but for the first time ever, Amazon workers in Alabama are looking to form a union. So this is the moment to give a phone call to Chris Smalls and start working to try and unionize and band together some of the biggest groups of laborers in the country and actually fight for what we need in this pandemic.
Yeah. It's funny, you're talking about what they never mentioned too as well, and where we are today. They really didn't mention the Black Panthers too and Fred Hampton. I remember one day at the end of the period, there was one paragraph, one page in our history book, and it was these were the radicals with guns in the streets, and we had to take them out. Boom. That's it. They send their message. It's their subliminal message. It's their empire education, their conditioning, their programming, and then you move on. And then when you start researching your stuff, you say, wow, look what this group is all about. And that's the real threat, I think, Jackson. It's not even the fact that we talk about elections or censorship. It's the fact that we continually talk about working class people or poor people coming together of different ideologies, different races, different religions. That is their biggest threat. That is their biggest fear. And that's, I think, why they're putting it down. But independent media, we often face censorship. What should we do now regarding the security state and the technocratic overreach, whatnot? With us getting censors today, Franco, whatnot. I mentioned you because I think you're one of the young, hot voices out there on the left, and eventually they'll try to slow down your momentum. Hopefully they won't. But what do we do, and what are you planning for if this does happen?
I'm scared as shit. Like, I get all my income pretty much from YouTube, which I know is not smart. Like, I do have a Rokfin, but most of my income comes from YouTube. And I think I'm probably not alone in that. I'm sure there's a bunch of people who get either the majority or a good portion of their monthly income from YouTube as content creators. And unfortunately, like, what are our choices? We don't have a lot that we can choose to do. I mean, you guys know I messaged you and a few other lefty or independent content creators probably about a month ago or a few weeks ago, and I was like, can we start a union? Can we band together in some way? Like, what do we do? And this was even before all of the crazy levels of censorship we're seeing right now was taking place. And we all knew this was going to be a huge issue. We knew it was coming. Years ago, we knew this was coming. You hear people who had independent shows back in like 2010 talking about how eventually, yes, censorship is going to be coming for the left. And now it's here. Now it's here.
Yeah.
And some of the people who have been trying to stifle this conversation about censorship for a long time are starting to wake up. I just saw you read that tweet from, I don't know if it's Jordan or Status Quo, but like that's cool. Like, again, credit where credit is due. Some people are finally coming around and realizing that this is a massive issue. And I just don't know if I have an answer for it, because YouTube is such a mega corporation. They are so untouchable. It's hard to think about or devise a way in which we could collectively even leverage all of our power to fight against this rogue censorship. But I don't know who was talking about it. When I was just getting my stream set up right before I came on today, someone on the stream was talking about nationalizing YouTube. Did I hear that correctly? I mean, that sounds like a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
But
making it a public utility.
Again, that's such an uphill battle in and of itself. Politicians today in Congress, they're all bought out by groups like YouTube and these, major mega media corporations. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but it seems pretty difficult to like devise a way to address this censorship, especially, and this is the last thing I'll say regarding this, but like, because they are coming at everyone at once. In the past, they've kind of gone after one person at a time, and they do it in a way where it allows all of us to band together behind that one person and be like, at Team YouTube on Twitter, what are you doing? And everyone tweets out their support for whoever's getting censored. And then usually within a few days, not all the time, but usually, the account is restored or it's remonetized or whatever. When they come for everyone at once, how are we supposed to handle that? We just can't. There's not enough people who could potentially tweet about this to make an impact. And it's kind of taking us all by storm.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. I mean, I think the idea is to formulate some sort of power between independent media, some sort of alliance where we can band together and try to get some sort of, I don't know if unionization is it or something along those lines, to where we can have something to like help us with this now, because this is cutting into our pockets now, into our way of life. This is what we do for a living. So like, when they're targeting this, they want us to stop. They want us to stop doing this. And this is how they do it. So there's got to be a pushback, though. For too long, YouTube and Google have been abusing people. And because they're such big companies, nobody ever dares go after them. So there's got to be like a sort of coming together, just like the little people did against the hedge funds. There's got to be something like that.
But at the end, it's like the same thing. Those hedge funds, they won. They used the manipulation of the government. And, I talked about this, Jackson, on that thread. I said, well, let's get over to Rokfin. We found a place where we can do what we got to do. But I still often get scared seeing what they did with Parler, right? Okay, so Parler became the other, we don't want to stay over here on Twitter. We need to do our own thing. People kind of classified it as the conservative Twitter and stuff like that. But a lot of it had to do with the fact that their voices were being suppressed. So even leftists went over and opened up a Parler account, like I did too as well, because I was sick and tired of the censorship that's taking place. So, and when we talked about AOC and squad members, AOC championed censorship. She talked about it. She cheered it on. When she had a chance to go after Mark Zuckerberg about the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, she stopped and said, why aren't you censoring enough? And then you have Cori Bush out here saying that we should sanction or actually get rid of people, elected officials who are talking out against the elections. I mean, this is really, really scary right now. So even though I say let's get over to Rokfin, and we have a lot of people who joined us over there today, and I'm glad you're on over there, there's got to be some fear that they can even shut that down as well.
Yeah, 100%. So Jackson, can you let us know where people can find you? Let people know about your channel while it's still there, and to support you in any way possible.
Yeah, so I am still, for now, on YouTube. You can find me at The Dive with Jackson Hinkle. kind of do a lot of the same stuff that you guys do. I just had on this week Justin Jackson and
Nice.
Bree Joy Gray. Very good conversations. Everyone should go check that out. Then I'm also on Rokfin, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, you guys keep pushing, because like what's happening right now is absolutely this is a crisis moment. It's a watershed moment, and you just got to keep the pressure going. And I will be there every step of the way to support you in doing that. I think it's hilarious that you have media outlets like the New York Times who can lie us into a coup in Bolivia or lie us into a war or wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yep.
Somehow they're deemed the paper of record in the country. But then people like you, truth tellers like you, and truth tellers like Graham Elwood are just censored and taken down because you're asking questions. You're not even like making claims about certain things. You're just asking questions. You're doing your job. So keep up the good work. And it's just so disappointing to see. And I'm waiting for my email. I'm just constantly checking my phone, waiting for my email for the demonetization. Yeah. I know it's coming.
Well, those two guests you had on this week right here, you're talking about Bree, you're talking about Justin Jackson. You better believe they're going to go after Bree soon. They're going to go after her because they understand where she's at on this fight, and she's been speaking up, and it's been great seeing that. And Justin Jackson plays for the NFL. I often make jokes and I say, okay, they're making political statements, but on their cleats, I don't see free Assange, end imperialism, end poverty, because there's only certain things they can kind of talk against and rage against. Yeah. And what he's been raging against, you better believe you're going to see something. I'm telling you right now, as a sports fan, they're going to target Justin Jackson, and they're going to try to silence him and shut him up. Watch that. So.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. He the first time I saw him actually was when he was tweeting about Neera Tanden and her shit takes on Libya, and I'm like, oh, this guy's for real. He's lit. He's lit. So I'm like, yeah, they'll come after all of us in due time. You just give it some time and it'll happen.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll get traded to the Jets. Yeah. Sorry.
Jackson, thank you so much for coming on with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks for the good conversation, and stay safe and keep doing your thing, man. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, guys. Stop flipping off cops, okay?
See you guys. Thank you.
Later, buddy.
Bye.
Jackson Henkel, everybody there. Go over to the dive. Check out his channel. He's almost at 13,000 subscribers. He's rising up. He is just an awesome person. He put together the Forced to Vote protest at D.C. that we went and joined. He's the real deal, guys. Yeah. He's got a lot of great things to say.
And he's growing too. He's one of those that's growing too. Yeah. I remember going on his channel when he was he had just started. He hadn't been on there that long. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. I can't say enough for the love that you guys been getting. I've been looking at my phone. It keeps on saying you got a new Patreon. You got PayPal love. We're looking at the Rokfin, all the Ray donations today, guys. Thank you so much. This is awesome that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
And sticking up for independent media. It's not just sticking up for the Convo Couch and helping us out. It's sticking up for people who want to have a freedom of expression in this country, because when you take that away, that's when the real fascism comes under control. They want to control the voice.
The truth, Pasta. That's what we do. We go on the ground. Yeah. We find out what the truth is, and we go and tell our viewers what the truth is. And that's why they're taking us down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, notice how they also went after Fort Fisher, who like on the ground, like you can't get any closer than literally showing what's going on the ground to the truth. Like, if you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with the fucking truth. You don't have a problem with harmful information. Harmful information, as Jackson said, the New York Times, the AP, they have lied about coups, foreign policy. They have gotten us into wars over lies. Washington Post, the beacons of progressivism, the perfection of journalism. Those people lie to the American people every fucking day. Russiagate got to be spun as a state narrative by CNN and MSNBC constantly. People getting paid millions of dollars each day to tell you that Russiagate was real. It turned out to be a complete conspiracy theory. Why aren't they getting taken down? Oh, because it's not about the truth. It's about the actual threat that they get from those of us who are actually telling the truth. Because Malcolm X said this himself. He said, if you're not careful, they're going to have you believing that the people who tell the truth are the liars, and they'll have you in the newspapers are the ones that are going to be lying.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, fam. They got the liars
Yeah.
are the truthful ones, and the truthful ones
They'll
are
have
now
you
the
believing the liars, and then
It's ridiculous.
The liars are
Fam,
honest
you're wearing a
ones.
fam shirt. Show everybody she's got a fam shirt on
Yeah,
today.
I got a fam shirt.
It says fam on it. And I'm going to read
Fam.
to our fams real quick on Rokfin because you guys are amazing. Like I said, our Patreons, our PayPal. You guys are showing us a lot of love today, and it really is helpful, especially when we got the news. I mean, we were literally sitting down here, and Johnny was like, uh-oh. And he opened up the email, and it wasn't even in my primary. It was in what
It's
part?
in the updates
It's in the
tab.
updates. They hid it from me. It's like, oh my Lord. And you guys have really lifted us up, especially on Rokfin. So let me send some love out there. We have 80 watchers on Rokfin. Let's get to 100.
Yeah.
We have over 600 on YouTube, right? Let's get over from your YouTube. Let's get on the Rokfin. This is a great day, ladies and gentlemen, to fight for independent media, to fight for the little guys out there. Tell the oligarchy and elites, F you. Sign up for Rokfin. Get involved with the monetary gains. It's been amazing, guys. Cynthia Pomerleau, thank you so much. You guys are glad you guys are on Rokfin. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Sandy Breon, thank you so much. We have your back, Sandy. We have yours. We're not stopping. William Dunlop, give us a little love. Thank you, William. We do appreciate that. Also, we have, let me go through this. There's so many. You guys are great. Diana Schoenbeck. All the old school people are coming back out.
Hey.
Diana, where you been? We have your back, Diana. We love you. Thank you so much. Virgil Fitzgerald, proud doorknob here. Yeah, we're proud doorknobs. And you can see some of the people who are already going saying, watch out for Jimmy Dore and his doorknobs to come after this AOC over here with your thing over here. Don't worry about the censorship and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Independent Left News. Okay. Guys, if you haven't gone on to the Independent Left News, they got a Twitter. They got a Instagram. It's awesome. Fam plus fam. We are here. Check out. Sign up right now. Go over to Instagram. It gives you a little update. He even has a little podcast that I subscribe to on Spotify.
He does afternoon and evening shows.
He gives you where to go. He gives you, it's a great guide to say, oh, what's going on. I love it, really, to tell you the truth. I go to it now, and I say, who's saying what? And then I can go to the articles I want, what interests me. Go check it out. He does
print and videos.
Yes, and he has a little podcast, too, as well. Stephanie Von Zernick, hang in there, Stephanie. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to hang in there as long as we can until they start shutting down the satellites. Dean Beckman, right?
Then we'll build a radio.
Or Boekman. Boekman? Boekman.
Boekman?
Maybe let's say Dean Beckman, Boekman. Dean B.
Boekman.
Deanie B. We love you. We love Dean. Dean. Populist right plus populist left equals revolution. AOC and party hacks on both sides equals civil war, and that's what they are pushing for. Thank you for the uncompromising honesty. Thank you for saying that. Courage and humanity during turbulent times. And it's going to get more turbulent, ladies and gentlemen. They're trying to silence people. That is the biggest danger. That is when you know you are right on what you're saying because they don't want you to say it no more. Stephanie Anthony. Thank you, Stephanie Anthony. We received a tip from you.
Somebody said more Johnny Sue, please. Yeah, as soon as he gets his camera back, he's going to have his Johnny section.
We're going to get the Johnny section. No offense.
By demand.
Thank you so much for the super raid, Noah. We really do appreciate it. Sheldon Bennett, dusted off my Rokfin for the homies. Thank you so much, Sheldon. Never stop speaking the truth. We got y'all. I don't think YouTube likes when Pasta says no cap, LOL. Sheldon, no cap. This is no lie.
I don't think
this
Glory Jones likes when Pasta says no cap.
And Daniel Butler just threw some love in there. Thank you for speaking up about free speech the way you did here. Thank you for speaking for leaving room for others to come around on the issues and apologize, and also representing that behavior. You know what? Hey, man, we've been saying this from the get-go. We're not out here to start fights. We're not trying to get in brawls. We don't like this shit.
Nope.
So, when there's a disagreement, when there's room to say, hey, I'm sorry. That's why I put my tweet out. I put it out there right away. I said, listen, Jordan, I know this is about us. I'm sorry for calling you a weasel. It was wrong of me. It was the heat of the moment. But, it's a coming of age. It's really today.
It's a turning point.
It's a turning point.
Another one. We've been having a lot of turning points, right? Like where you have to choose whose side you're going to be on. Because I'm not one of dualities, okay? But this is different. This is the working class, the people of this country versus obviously these corporate establishment oligarchy that we live in. And the oligarchy isn't on your side, so why the hell would you stick up for them? Yeah. People are realizing like, holy shit, like this is, now we have to stick together no matter what, because they're going to come after all of us eventually. This is just the beginning.
And let me tell you something. There's a reason why they made everybody in America poor. The majority of poor.
Yeah.
It's like George Carlin said, they want you consumed. They want you working 3 jobs where you don't have enough energy or strength to look at the nuances of the situation, that you just take what's given to you. You pop a beer and you watch reality TV, you go to sleep, you get up and you do it all again. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they don't want people. They want people just smart enough to push the brooms, push the buttons, but not smart enough to start thinking about a system that threw them over the cliff years ago and left them for dead. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you thinking about that, and that's why they're censoring voices, because the people who speak up against that are the biggest threat. Johnny.
So real quick, I'm going to show all the super chats through the Streamlabs, because there are multiple ways that if you would like to support us, you know, we're bringing truth on the ground, and if you have the funds available to do it, we really appreciate it and thank you, because this is all we're doing.
Yeah.
Sonia Rhodes, let's see, it shows up there. Oh,
look at that.
Okay. I'm a new Trumper voter, old type Democrat. Great show. I listen to all sides. What was it? I listen to all sides. Everyone knows cheaters are automatically disqualified. Wit to wit. Sadly, AOC needs a deflection from her failure to represent her constituents in their time of dire need. Class traitor for revolution. European YouTubers were considering forming a union a while ago to fight this BS from Google. I know Jamal Thomas and American Johnson have spoken about this previously. Not sure what came of it, but United Front is a necessary next step.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Agreed.
It is.
Yeah, we're going to have to reach out to Jamal.
Yeah, that's really terrible that happened to him too as well. I mean,
the
Sputnik,
progressive,
turn him down, silence him.
The Progressive Soapbox, you know, is another independent media channel that's got right around that same size. It's happening to all of us, guys.
Yep. Well, that's the funny thing. Now we got this level, right? So I'm thinking they're going to take a step up now and go after some bigger shows. So Jimmy Dore, Kim Iversen, let's watch out for them. Let's hope they don't silence them and shut them up. They have big audiences. They're friends of the show. They let us go on. And Niko, you know, all these people are just
I'm surprised Niko hasn't been shut yet. Like he'll say more controversial things than we will. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, we have a couple sections here we should get on. But Johnny, I just wanted to also put this quote that I was butchering.
Right above the CIEP part
right
of the
above
folder.
the CIA. Yeah. I want everybody to see this because this has been it's so true right now more than ever. What's happening? So it basically says this is what it says: if you aren't careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing.
And they are.
And
they are.
This is why I get so mad at the boutique left, because I expect them to know better. I expect them to know you saw what happened with Obama. You see this isn't the first time. You saw what happened with the war in Iraq. And yet you are falling right in line, like right where they want you to. You are hating people who are oppressed and who are telling the truth, and you are loving people who are doing the oppressing just because they're lying to you through symbolic platitudes. And you should know better. Yeah. This is why I'm harder on the Democrats and the people who are supposed to be progressive. This is why I'm harder on AOC, because you're supposed to be better than that. I don't expect it from a Republican. I expect you to be better. And that's why when people ask us, why are you going after AOC, the squad, Democrats, you never go after her? Because what? Like, I already know who they are. Like, you guys are pretending that this is better when it isn't, and that's in its own way taking away our ammunition from being able to actually fight the system, because we're too busy trying to convince you that that's not going to work and that we need to fight the system as a whole, not just for one fucking party and pretend Democrats are better than Republicans. Look what they're doing. Yeah,
and you know, like 90% of those MAGA people, those Trump people that you hate so much and stuff, they ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of it, and they use the economics to tweak them, to get them so pissed off, to move them in a certain direction and stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is an all-out class war. It's us against them. And unfortunately, some of you on the left have been duped to stand behind these oligarchs and these elitists, these fascists, as they censor us and silence our voice. It's like Denzel Washington once said, if you don't read the paper, you're uninformed. If you do read the paper, you're misinformed. And that's the thing about the neo-progressive boutique left, fam. They're not uninformed. They're misinformed.
Right, because they watch the wrong information, but at the same time, those people should not be censored either.
Should we get to our boy?
Let's get to
the slums of Illinois.
Okay.
Mayor Pete.
So, Illinois. Indiana.
Sorry, my bad. Thank you. Sorry, my bad.
So Pete Buttigieg has been confirmed as transportation secretary. You can play the little video, Johnny, if
From
you
the
want.
Hill?
Yeah, just play the little video while I
We're
I
not
talk
gonna worry
over
about
it.
YouTube taking us down. It's like,
Yeah, that's fine. While I talk over it,
it
I
just
have
says, yeah. Go ahead.
I have the Senate, the actual
Is there
United
anyone in
States
the
Senate
chamber who would
legislation.
like to vote or change his or her vote? If not, the yeas are 86, the nays are 13. The nomination is confirmed.
So yeah, they confirmed it. Yeas 86, nays 13. If you show the Senate, it was a roll call vote, 117th Congress, the first session, because this is the first session of the new Congress. And he got an overwhelming amount of yays, including by some of those. If you scroll, you got, let's see, you got Sanders, you got Feinstein, you got Warren, you got everybody voted for him. The only nays were a Republican not voting, and then most of the nays were all Republicans. There's not a single Democrat that didn't vote for Pete Buttigieg. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, I
And,
guess it goes to the argument, fam. Well, listen, we let Trump get his nominations in. They
Right.
should let us get our nominations
Right.
in. So, I mean, yeah, I get it.
I just have a list of things to remind you guys who Pete Buttigieg is, because I think some people forgot. They have a selective amnesia in America, right? We're a country of amnesia.
United States of Amnesia is what Gore Vidal used to call us.
No, we really are. Okay, so here's flashback day today. CNN town hall, if you guys remember that. Pete Buttigieg said he'd take Bloomberg's money in the spirit of unity. But then he also admitted that Bloomberg was trying to buy the nominations and said that's what's wrong with our system, claiming his campaign was built from nothing. Ironically, he forgot about the wine caves that he was at. So
there was a
let's
lot
just
of big
play a
dark
little bit
money,
of his
fam,
video.
right?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of big fam used to point out in that video that you did, a lot of dark money going to Pete Buttigieg's ways. Red flags.
But he would not commit to accepting money from Michael Bloomberg if Michael Bloomberg is not the Democratic nominee, right? He's pledged to help whoever is. Would you take his money and his support if you are the nominee?
Sure. Look, right now, obviously, I'm competing against Mayor Bloomberg. We have, I think, different approaches and different visions. But, his philanthropy supported a $1 million effort in our community to help low-income people get transportation to go to work. I'm not going to reject that help because it came from a very wealthy person. This is the moment to bring everybody that we can into this effort. And I promise exactly one thing in return for any contribution, which is we're going to take that contribution and use it to go beat Donald Trump.
You talk about something he did in your community, but obviously Amy Klobuchar has said Bloomberg is, her words, she's hiding behind his ad spending. Elizabeth Warren says he's bought his way onto the debate stage. Bernie Sanders has accused him of trying to buy the entire election. Pretty simple question, yes or no. Do you think Michael Bloomberg is trying to buy the Democratic nomination for president?
Yes. Yes. What else do you call it when you dip into your endless reserves of millions and billions and don't go through the process of campaigning in states like Nevada or Iowa or New Hampshire, humbling yourself, going into the diners and the backyards, looking eye to vote? Look, my campaign wouldn't exist if all that mattered was how much money and fame you start with and how you get yourself on the air. We built this thing from nothing. And we built it by having those conversations and letting voters pick apart what you have to say. And to try to just go around that by throwing colossal sums of money on television shows you what's wrong with our system.
Michael Bloomberg, if Michael Bloomberg is not the Democratic nominee, right? He's pledged to help whoever is. Would you take his money and his support if you are the nominee?
Sure.
I want to hear that sure one more time, fam, because
Oh my gosh.
because this what this is a really dark thing of manufacturing consent to take dark money from people saying, "Oh, I can take that money from them and they're not going to influence me whatsoever." Yeah, sure, I'll take that money and we can still do the right thing with it. No, you cannot.
And
they
he knows
don't
that.
give you the money unless they expect something in return. Sorry, fam.
No, he knows that. He knows that. Okay, so that picture of him. Okay, so back to February 10th of 2020. If you guys recall, Bernie was doing great. It was a good time. People were happy. There was no coronavirus. Everything was great. Let's take a moment to reflect. And then Pete Buttigieg comes And he signaled a guard to kick out a journalist, Pasta, if you guys recall this. I didn't. You found it? Okay, we'll play it in a minute. He tried to remove credentials from another and attack the cameraman. There was links to the shadow app. We were talking about this way back then, and Iowa Democratic Party members. Ex-organizer working as a Nevada voter protection director. His ex-organizer was obviously involved. So let's play the video where Pasta gets manhandled. Well, he should have been wearing a Tulsi shirt.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Dore retweeted. He said, another reporter beat Pete Buttigieg goons roughing up the press, this time at Yo Pasta. If Trump's people were doing this, CNN and MSNBC would be screaming and creating a narrative around his violent thugs harassing journalists. So Pasta said, at a rally in New Hampshire, I patiently waited to ask Pete Buttigieg if he would pardon Julian Assange. Well, since I was wearing a Tulsi Gabbard shirt, his campaign signaled a security guard who grabbed me when I clearly didn't obstruct anyone.
What's up? You mind taking a step over?
There's no way I can go. It's not here.
Mayor Pete, will you pardon Julian Assange? Will you pardon Julian Assange? Pete, will you pardon Julian Assange? Pete, will you pardon Julian Assange? You're not allowed to grab me. I'm not just on film. Why are you grabbing me? Because you're going to I would like to speak to your supervisor right now. Please. Please, let me go. I would like his supervisor right now. What's your name, sir? Calm down. No, he was grabbing me and throwing me out of the way.
You're going to an exit that you're not
I was going this way. I have a trespass.
It doesn't matter. You can't
You're
go
not
this
allowed
way.
to grab me and touch me. No, I want his name. I want to speak to his supervisor. You just grabbed me. Why did you grab me?
Because I was protecting somebody.
No, you did not. You were grabbing me out of the way because I have a Tulsi shirt on. You
it has nothing to do with that.
Oh shit! You just grabbed me and threw me out of the way. Please watch him now. Can you take care of him? He just grabbed me. I have
So wearing a Tulsi shirt. I told you not to put that shirt on.
I didn't think I was staying there because
What is your name, sir?
Fiorella.
You don't have to give me your name. Okay, so we're just saying the event.
Look at that guy pulls out his cell phone.
I was over here. He just grabbed me to throw me out of the way because he didn't want me asking a question. He grabbed me. He can't grab me.
Pasta went full Karen.
If he's protecting the door,
He was grabbing me. I was right over here. I wasn't near the door. I was in this way, right here. Would you like me to show you the footage? He grabbed me. I was right here, not blocking the door. You don't grab people. That's what the event staff does, right there. If somebody's wearing a Tulsi shirt, they grab him to throw him out of the way. That's exactly what the case is. He came and followed me, this guy. Thank you, guys.
That's why the camera went shooting up in the air because the dude just grabbed me under my arm. You know what I'm saying? And as I was on there, I kind of was like looking at Pete and took to the left, and I can see the guy behind Pete point right to me, to that guard, and that guard just came right over, and I was just trying to do my best. I was trying to show off of the action for Assange people. And
They don't like any Tulsi Gabbard people. No. And also you were talking about Assange.
So the interesting thing there, which I took a note of, was that, Pete dodged that question from Pasta, and his supporters started chanting USA, USA, as soon as Pasta was yelling about Assange.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they were directed to do that. And there's evidence of that from the 2016 DNC convention when Bernie supporters would chant "No more wars." The Hillary supporters were directed to say "USA, USA."
Yeah.
There was a memo about that. That came out in the emails, right? That came out.
That came out.
You can't question the state narrative. You're talking about foreign policy. You're talking about civil liberties. Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. It was the Assange thing that I think really pissed them off the most, fam.
They did that to Leon Panetta. When Leon Panetta came out at the 2016 Democratic Convention, they were screaming, they were yelling, and all of a sudden, they were instructed in this one area to start yelling, USA, USA. So,
But he couldn't escape his Wall Street ways, because I caught this video at the McIntyre Shaheen 100 Club event where it was a bunch of neoliberal corporate sellouts. You can see they had tables, and that's where they went. The plebs all got to sit around, and I was supposed to go down there, but they were already full for press.
So this is kind of like a stadium thing, right?
Yeah, and so there Pete Buttigieg started mocking Bernie's revolution. and there was a lot of Bernie supporters there. And the cameras, they never panned to them in the thing. You didn't really get good self-service, so I couldn't post this till after. But I did manage to post it soon after, so you guys can hear it.
Yeah. And that's done on purpose.
With a president this divisive, we cannot risk dividing Americans' future further. Saying that you must either be for a revolution or you must be for the status quo. Let's start moving forward.
That is it. Bernie voted to confirm this guy. Just want to remind everybody that's why we're watching this.
One chance to defeat Donald Trump. And there is an American majority that is unified not just in who we are against, but in what we are for. Because we are for higher wages and the empowerment of workers. We are for honoring our troops by putting an end to endless war. We are for our teachers and prepared to back them up with a Secretary of Education who believes in public education. We are for creating an American experience where your race has no bearing on your health or your wealth or your experience with law enforcement. That is the America we must build together. And we cannot wait any longer.
So if you guys didn't hear while the burners were shouting Wall Street Pete, the Buttigieg people were saying Buttigieg, Buttigieg,
Buttigieg.
And
Buttigieg.
Remember we ripped up a Buttigieg
the sign. The
Yeah.
Buttigieg sign, fam. I'm sorry.
No, and I just want to say, you guys, the reason we're showing this is because Bernie just voted to confirm this guy that was shit-talking him on a national stage full of thousands of people. He just voted to fucking confirm this guy for transportation. And it's just really disgusting to me that he's doing that. And he's going to vote for Neil Tannen. That's why we're watching this, because I want everybody to remember who the fuck Pete Buttigieg was, because this is the United States of amnesia.
Fam, wasn't he just saying that yeah, I'll take that money. It shows you how messed up the system is. But yet he says on stage, well, you're either fighting for revolution or the status quo. Like, you're supporting the status quo,
No.
Holmes.
He said
we can't say that.
We can't say that.
We can't.
Bernie was being divisive because we can't say that.
Yeah, but that says to me that you're not fighting for revolution, that you have to just accept the status quo.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying.
That's what I'm
exactly
trying
what
to
he's
say.
That's
And
exactly
it's like, here's a guy going, yeah, I'll take the money, but it shows you how messed up our system is. So,
and here's Pasta asking Buttigieg what he would do foreign policy-wise on day one as POTUS, and he said he would restore the credibility of the United States.
You are one of two veterans in the race. What would you do day one, foreign policy-wise, if you were elected president?
Well, the first job of the next president is going to be to restore the credibility of the United States. When we have a president who turns his back on our allies, when you have a president who short-circuits our own military justice system, to block justice for war crimes and accusations of war crimes, that undermines the very foundation of U.S. credibility and honor around the world. So in addition to the specific foreign policy steps we need to take in order to join with allies on counterterrorism efforts and ensure that we have the right kind of trade for the future that's going to serve Americans well, and pull together the country to confront climate change, there's a more basic and fundamental effort, and that is to send the message that America is a country that can be trusted. It will be my top priority in relating with our allies, and a message that will also go to our adversaries around the world.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, basically
Restore
imperialism.
the credibility. Yeah. Oh, back to imperialism.
Yeah.
You're back to the
Yeah, it was
the crypto fascism.
Yeah,
and,
it's exactly what he did. I mean, he's CIA Pete. He's Mackenzie Pete. He's, this Pete. So he also shortly before, in November 13th of 2019, he had made a statement regarding the attacks on Israel. And he condemned the rocket attacks on Israel and said Israel has a right to defend itself against acts of terror that set back any progress towards peace and will only serve to inflame the humanitarian situation in Gaza. This was an attack that Israel had actually began and started. And Palestinians were defending themselves. So, Israel was shooting at unarmed Palestinians. Guys, I mean, he took this stance, and he was horrible on foreign policy. That's the point I wanted to make. He was horrible on foreign policy. And the last one, or the last two we have, the last one is the recap of what happened after Iowa. In Iowa thus far, the app failed. Pete Buttigieg put money into the Shadow app. The Sanders campaign's own app showed the inconsistencies. That's why they were able to figure that out. It took 3 days to get 97% reporting, and Bernie starts winning. And Buttigieg camp called the IDP, the Iowa Democratic Party, to complain about weighted delegates. And we saw that with the coin tosses and all of that. And Tom Perez issued a recanvass. Tom Perez was able to reissue a canvass during a primary. Yet when Donald Trump and some of these Trump supporters were trying to reissue a recount, that wasn't allowed. Do you see the double standards here? Do you see? This is what I'm trying to point out here. We have been following the elections and the corruption for a while. None of it started with Trump, and like I said, none of it will end with him.
Isn't it funny the fact that the Convo Couch got there, and we kind of talked about the issues with these people when it comes to Pete Buttigieg with his foreign policy and his intelligence community contacts, and the fact he won't answer anything about Assange, talk about that shit, and just gives you fluff. We also talked about Kamala Harris, how she's all for censorship. She was like, "Oh, I'll stick with my point of view to say, hey, we should take down Donald Trump's Twitter." And if you start saying that, it's once again. I mean, look, what we spotted this in these people a while ago, and you know what? They're not letting us down. They're showing us who they are.
Fam, let's read whatever super chat, and then I just have one video.
Did you have that one last tweet though, or something at the very end, or did we?
I think that was Johnny. Yeah,
we got it all. Okay, let me go over to some super rays real quick because I know we have some over there. Fam, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to those tweets over there and whatnot. This money just keeps on going up over here. You guys are amazing and stuff. Did I read this one here? Thank you for speaking, leaving the room to others. Yes. Okay, so Ingrid Campos said never stop, and Ingrid Campos gave the fist. That's right. We love you. Thank you so much, Ingrid Campos. By the way, we have 100 people.
Yay.
100 on the Rokfin. Yes. Yay. Confetti falling. We love you. You're awesome. Jean Barrington. Barringtonham. How do you say that? Brantingham, right?
Yeah.
Jean Brantingham. What a beautiful name. Thank you so much for the Super Ray.
Sounds so.
I love that name. It's so sophisticated. Jean Brantingham here to speak for Yasmin Awale. Yasmin Awale. Hey, fam. I appreciate that you guys do what you guys do on the ground. Thank you so much. YouTube cannot stop us all. You guys are proving that today. You guys and girls are proving that today over on Rokfin, helping us out with these super rays. It is amazing the love you are showing us today. John Lavin has joined in. Thank you so much, John Lavin, for the super ray. So sorry to hear about the demonetization. Here's a little bit more than the monthly Patreon. Keep fighting. And John, we will keep fighting, and we appreciate the Patreons. I've been getting notifications on my phone. We have new Patreons signing up today, new PayPal donations to help us out during these hard times, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stop the Convo Couch by crippling us, by hitting us in the demonetization, not giving us our monetary gains so that we can get on the ground and report the truth to you guys out there, because that's what we do. That's why they went after Ford Fisher today. They don't want you even seeing what's going on the ground.
Yeah, they don't want you to see people who disagree with each other talking to each other.
Exactly.
That ruins their fucking narrative.
Glenn Combs, thank you so much, Glenn Combs, said this platform will flourish if it doesn't get sucked into the governmental black hole. And let me tell you something, Glenn. We are worried about that. You saw Platform. They just took them down. They control and they run everything. They have the satellites, ladies. That's our satellites. That's our world. That's our space. They shouldn't be able to do it. We have 545 watching on YouTube. If you have a chance, if you haven't done it yet, go over to the Rokfin, sign up for free. If you have a few extra bucks, you want to endorse us for $9.99 a month, that is amazing. You don't have to do it, but just at least today, if anything, sign up for the free account. Advertisement free. The advertisers don't run, fam, Rokfin like they do YouTube. The people do. It's the people's platform.
And I just want to say, too, Johnny, what's our PayPal? It's a PayPal at the Convo Couch. Just want to let everybody know because some people like...
It's in the description. It's paypal.me/theconvocouch.
PayPal.me/theconvocouch. We should probably make a graphic and post it up there so people know. So we'll add that to the list of things that we have to do. But just so you guys know, other ways to support us, because now, this is taking a third of our income, and, this is what we do. So, it's really shitty that they're doing this. But, again, we're not going to stop. We're not going to back down. They've shut other channels down. I know Hardlines had to start over from scratch multiple times. I'm worried about them too. I'm worried about all of our friends that are, doing great shows and are going to be shut down, likely demonetized if not. And we need to band together. We need to put out ideas to how
I have an idea.
Independent media can literally coalesce to fight Google and big tech.
The doorknobs join together and say F you YouTube and go on Rokfin only. And just they give the big middle finger to YouTube. Just give the big, because listen, this next subject we're talking about is one of the reasons, fam, why they took us down. Plain and simple. Put it on, write it down, mark it down. Pasta said so. February, whatever, 3rd is it, whatever date is.
Yeah.
This is the reason why. The biggest fear the empire has is not any country. It's its own citizens who went in going, hey, no more with your bullshit. No more with your empire, imperialistic, running around so that individuals can suck up all the resources while the plebs are at home running around like ants working for the imperialism. You know what I'm saying? While we're just running around with our heads cut off, just trying to stay afloat. It's bullshit, no more. And when the people of different races, religions, and different political ideologies come together, they quiver, they shake in their boots. Johnny, let's get to this third one over here because what this is about, fam, why don't you introduce us here?
All right, so the Boogaloo Boys, I got sent this, and it was the Boogaloo Boys doing an interview with somebody who was just at a BLM protest, basically.
Yeah.
And it's called Let's Talk About It Show. They don't have that many subscribers, but they were at a BLM protest, and it's titled Black Lives Matter, says the Boogaloo Boys. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Think about that. So most people have to share this, fam, right? He doesn't have a lot of subscribers, so he's not high up in the algorithm. A lot of people to get notifications, but this video got a lot of views. Why? Because people are starting to see it. The curtain has been pulled out from behind these imperialist assholes, right? If Donald Trump did anything, whether he was part of the whole Kabuki theater or where he was raging against it, we know now that we're getting played. And a lot of us are getting more and more of this information and coming on to the situation saying, you know what, we are getting played over here. So take a look at this video right here. It's very interesting.
We got our shirts and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So what are you guys doing down here? You got guns and stuff? Well, tell me about it. Let's talk about it.
We're here to protect our countrymen. We don't want any violence coming from anybody. We stand for peace and unity. We want everyone to come together and be able to have a peaceful protest and not be flashbanged and not be hit with rubber bullets and not be hit with sticks. And so we're here to protect our fellow countrymen, no matter the color.
No matter the color. What about for you?
Oh, absolutely. I have a duty and responsibility under the Constitution to ensure life, liberty, and property.
Now, is this you saying protect people from who? Rubber bullets? Are you guys talking about the police?
It could be.
Anybody that wants to. Yes, sir. Could be the police. Anybody that wants to bring violence. We will hear.
It could be just somebody from the crowd that wants to beat somebody up with a stick because of their point of view. That's not right, right? And so we would stop that. We would deter that from happening.
So I want to remind you guys about this protest. This protest is about defunding the police, and so that's what this is all about. Today, my question was, why is it important to push the Black Lives Matter movement versus the All Lives Matter?
In my opinion, I've had firearms pulled on me by police, but I feel like the black man has it even worse in America. I feel like if there were several black men running around here with ARs, completely legal, breaking no laws, I believe that there would be SWAT teams on their way here. I really feel that because of what I've seen in the country. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. I believe that black people are demonized and they're treated poorly by those who sworn an oath to protect and serve us. In my heart, I feel like if I swear an oath to protect and serve you like I did my children, I told my children I'll protect them. That means that their life is now more important than mine, and I'll give my last breath to protect them. And that's not what our public servants are doing. I believe it's all a money game. They'll do whatever makes them money.
Wow. And for you?
Absolutely. I think it's more of a us versus them kind of thing. I think that absolutely that the African American race here has it more difficult according to police. But obviously I think there is a divide going on that they're trying to divide us into sections and splinter us so we don't see the real enemy, which is a tyrannical government. And the police support tyrannical government at this stage in life. and that's why I'm here. I agree with the Black Lives Matter movement. Absolutely. Black lives absolutely matter. All lives absolutely matter. We all, I mean, it's really not about race for me personally. It's about me against and the people against a tyrannical government that wants to enslave us.
There it is. And my last question is, I mean, we just got to talk about it. Our shirts. So tell me what inspired your looks today.
About 9 months ago, a man named Duncan Lemp, he was a white man. He was shot to death in his sleep. And the police, it was by police. Police wrote it up that they served a no-knock warrant to remove his guns because a red flag came up. So they served a no-knock warrant. And they said that they were met with violence and fear for their lives. But everyone in the house claims that Duncan was asleep in his bed and the police shot him through their window. And this is when the Boogaloo boys, the flowered shirts, were born. That's when we were born, about 9 months ago, when Duncan Lemp was murdered by the police. And those police are still police right now. Just like Anisha, that's not her.
7-year-old Ayanna Jones, asleep on a couch, was hit in the head with a bullet from Officer Joseph Weekly's MP5 submachine gun.
Well, Jeff, it was testimony that was really tough to listen to. This grandmother says Officer Weekly fired instantly the moment he entered that house.
I'm laying there screaming, asking somebody to help my granddaughter because he just shot her in the head. And he wouldn't even help her. They turned on the light and seen that she had been shot and carried out the house. Oh.
7-year-old little girl a few years ago was shot to death by the police. He went to trial. The officer went to trial twice on our dollar. The citizens paid for his defense against our will. They used the money for whatever. He was found not guilty both times. Had to have been a rigged jury because this 7-year-old little girl was murdered. And her killer is still working for the Detroit Police Department today.
The injustice of it all.
My statement is,
okay,
I love you. I love you, each and every one of you. You're my countrymen and my country ladies. Absolutely. And I would not allow seeing any of you battered, not on my watch. And I'm not even getting paid. But I care about you, and I am my brother's keeper. We need to unite, America. We need to unite.
Under the Constitution, under the Bill of Rights, read the Declaration of Independence. Read your amendments, the first 10 amendments.
Know your rights.
Read the philosophy of the Founding Fathers that gave us this country that we live in.
Thank you guys so much. We talked. You guys are great. Thank you so much.
Bring it in.
Love you guys. Bring it in.
Okay.
Fam, I think it's a lie. I think the Boogaloo boys are nefarious, sinister, deep, nuanced guys are evil. Like all these other freaking leftist YouTubers are coming out and saying, and they're really just planning on tricking us, and that once they get the government down, they're going to kill all the black people because that's what all these leftist people are saying right now. That's what it is, right?
I mean, just on the ground things I have seen completely be entirely different. This is why I'm writing an article on this, because this is like, there's so much shit that we don't know, and so many different people I'm communicating with that are giving me information saying, look at this, look at that, and like, no, like this was, and I wanted Jonny to look up that guy.
He got him up there.
Because they a lot of people didn't even know this. When I watched Magnus go on Niko's show, I think it was yesterday, and they were talking about things that we didn't even know about. Like, oh my God, like that the Boogaloo boys didn't do this, that the Boogaloo boys had been, that they have denounced people like Kyle Rittenhouse from being a Boogaloo boy, because the media claims that Kyle Rittenhouse is a Boogaloo boy. They're saying, no, he's not. Like, none of that. Like, it's just, and he was explaining like what he meant by like defending, like having arms versus like what happened there. I was extremely critical of Kyle Rittenhouse. We have all been on this show. I do not think that kid should have been there at all in any way, shape, or form. His mother, his parents should be in trouble. He shared that he was there with other adults and they let him alone. By default, those adults should also be prosecuted.
Well, let me say this much. If Kyle Rittenhouse was a Boogaloo boy, they would have suspended him for his tweets and his actions where he was talking badly about Black Lives Matter. They would have thrown him out of the Boogaloo boys if he was a Boogaloo boy. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah. Well, they're saying he wasn't. Yeah. So, I mean, that
Come on.
point's moot.
This is so stupid.
So I just wanted to, Johnny, they mentioned this case because a lot of people, I didn't even know about this. A man was killed by a police officer and was asleep when police fired. This sounds very similar to Breonna Taylor.
Yep.
And this was an attorney that says a Maryland man who was shot and killed by a police officer was asleep in his bedroom when police opened fire from outside his house. And this was just a regular, like a guy, like this is Duncan Lamb. He was a white guy. And you didn't hear about him, right? You didn't hear about him when they actually did that. Well, then they did it to Breonna Taylor. They did it to that little girl. They've done it multiple times through their force. And so these people are saying, holy shit, like this is where we got our idea. This is what we're up against, etc. I'm going to continue showing more videos of people with opposing views or different views talking to each other. What that man, those two men, particularly the one with the hat, was saying was like, America, we need to unite. Like, let's unite together against this government. Like,
there you go.
Now, I'm not a strict constitutionalist. I mean, I think the Constitution is not, it's changed. We've expanded it. There's room for growth. But what I do believe in is the First Amendment. What I do believe in is that we have these rights as American citizens, that we need to remember that we have the right to hold our government accountable when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's in these documents. It's in the Declaration of Independence. This is why I brought it up many times, because in the Declaration of Independence it says if the government is not fulfilling their duties, the people have the right to overthrow that government. It literally says that they use that thinking, and that, of course, that was modeled after the French. Now, what is happening now is people are getting to that point where they're like, well, like, this was in June of last year. So it's been like, 8 months of this happening. And like, people were worse off than we were then. So now more than ever, this is why they're doing this, because they're scared of that. They're scared of a black man talking to a white man and hugging. They're scared of these people coming together and saying, hey, yeah, I support BLM. Oh, really? Okay. Why? Oh, police brutality, and goes on to list very specific examples of what happened to both a little black girl and a white guy that you didn't hear in the media. It's crazy to me that we're figuring this out now, but I think now is a pivotal moment. There is, Mercury was in retrograde. All these things have been happening. Like, it's crazy. People get into Caitlin Johnstone because they're like,
Mercury is forever in retrograde.
It's been in retrograde the last year.
It says left retrograde. Oh my God. Frank Sloat said, stay strong, love. Thank you, Frank Sloat. Thank you so much. Revolutionary Koala always joins the party.
Aww.
Hey, doorknobs, open the doorway. That's right.
Hold the door.
Hold the door. Eddie Villegas. Did I say it right?
Villegas.
Eddie Villegas. Eddie Villegas. Thank you so much for the Super Ray. You are amazing.
Quesadilla.
We have 99 still watching strong. We're over 100 today. We were close over 100, 600 on YouTube. But guys, remember, if you're on YouTube, get on over, please. Cyberdoc, all these people, Real Talk.
Jilly Love, thank
Jonathan
you.
Evans.
Thank you, Gamer for Life. Thank you, moderators.
Angel
I don't
U.
see Jordan there, but our
Kim.
moderator Jordan.
Josh Davis.
Let's see.
Paulaz. I can't say you're going too fast. Monarch. Milas, Kim, Stupid Enochs, Jonathan Evans, Dr. Dragon. Do me a favor, get over to Rokfin, ROKFIN. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining up.
Wendy Mellon.
All you guys. Ramona, thank you so much. Jilly Love, Angel U. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say, yesterday, coming in today, we had 103 subscribers. We have 104. Thank you, guys. Get on over. If you can afford to subscribe, please do. It's $9.99 a month. It gives you everybody on the platforms content across the board.
And more people
free.
are going to be joining Rokfin because, trust me, as this keeps happening, they have no choice. And Rokfin is good too. It's helped us out a lot. Like, we actually, we need to do a Rokfin exclusive soon.
We should just do Rokfin.
That's what we're gonna do.
I want free rant Fridays. What about the Fee Rant Fridays only on Rokfin? Would you guys like a Fee Rant Fridays for OnlyFans on Rokfin? We have 9,987 subscribers, followers on Rokfin. Tomorrow when we go, we'd love to see 10,000. We would love to see
10K.
that. Thank you so much for all those people who subscribe. We want to get to 100. We're at 104. Let's keep on rocking. Johnny, do you have some Streamlabs chats?
I was gonna say, people should check out our old Rokfin premiums where we did trivia.
Yeah.
And that shit was so fun, and there was a lot of production. And
are those premium only?
I believe those were premium, or most of them were premium. Maybe like one or two was
the Kim
free.
one. The Kim one was funny.
The Kim one, I think, was the first one.
Yeah,
and it was really funny.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Kim Iversen was on. We've had who else have we had on? We had Jason Burmis, Graham Elwood, Steve, Jackson Fax. Who else?
Jason Burmis. You already said that.
We did one with, I think, me,
Jamal
Tina.
Thomas.
Did we do one with Ron?
I think
Ron was on one.
Ron,
Yes.
Yeah.
Ron was on one. Tina was on one. So there's a lot of people. There's fun stuff that was.
And plus, I got mad because I would win all the time. So then I had to like stop playing because I would win.
Kind of like your chess game. I get mad because you win all the time. She's one of the hardest chess players I've ever played in my life, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to start a chess tournament. Get on chess.com.
You're going to make her think she's a Beth Hartman or something.
No, she's good. She's not like you, Johnny. Johnny impulsive. You know what I'm saying? And
hard decisions.
The thing is, when I play chess, I'm very I go after you, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm
he's
aggressive. I'm like, my poker game and my chess game
just
are very
sitting
much
back like.
And she just lets you. She's like, come here. She's like doing the whole thing on what was that movie with Hold Braveheart when they're like hold.
Oh yeah.
Hold. And then as they get really close, he's like, no! And they put the big spears up and they kill all the horses. She draws you in, and then she kills you.
Yes.
What do we got in Streamlabs, Johnny?
That's what I want to do to the 1%.
Let's see. Someone said, I'm really sorry what happened, fam. F Google.
Yeah.
Wendy Melly. Thank
I agree.
you, Wendy.
F Google.
Thank you, Melly.
It's Google really doing this.
Yeah.
Finger_man.
Alphabet.
Keep it up. YouTube's going to lose subscribers. San
Yeah.
Francisco Thomas.
We love you, San Francisco
Thomas from San Francisco.
You're awesome.
From Frisco.
No. Johnny, don't say Frisco. You're going to piss off the Frisco.
You got to call it the city.
The city.
Yeah.
That's not. The city is New York. Let's stop that stuff.
I know.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
That's all of them, guys. Thank you so much. You guys had over 100 people today watching on Rokfin. Right around 100. You had 128 likes. You guys smashed the like button. YouTube, you had a lot of people over there today, over 600. And that was great. We really do appreciate it. But like we said, we got the email of death that other people got. Graham Elwood got it the other day. Franco got it. Jamal got it. Jason Burmis has been rocking for a long time. They want to shut our voices down. They want to shut the little guy down.
He's been demonetized, right?
For a long time, he's been demonetized.
Oh, Jackson?
No,
Jason Burmis. Jackson too.
Jackson too.
And Jack, you know what I'm saying? And that was something they're like, well, we're not letting this guy get out there.
Not at all.
So we ain't letting this guy get out here. But Jackson is one of the greatest hearts. Jackson Fax. We had Jackson Hinkle on today. He's amazing. Jackson Fax, one of the greatest hearts, actually persuaded us and showed us the light to be vegans. And we've been vegans ever since he got to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we love him. He's an amazing person. And he's another person who's been silenced too as well, because that's what they want to do. They want to clip your legs by taking away your money so you can't get out on the ground, but we're not going to let them stop us. You went over to Rokfin today. You spoke up against the machine, ladies and gentlemen, and all we can ask is that you keep speaking up. Support us on these smaller outlets right now that might not be the big bees or the queen bee, whatever you call them, of the YouTubes, but it's going to grow. Rokfin is going to continue to grow. It's been an awesome platform, and we need your help over there. And thank you to our Patreons and the people who left money on PayPal today. I can't tell you enough how amazing it has been today.
We are funded by the 99%, and that is as truthful as we want to remain. We do not want to take, this money from these Hillary Clinton funds like certain people take. TYT.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that,
Yeah.
and that's why we need you. So thank you guys so much.
Be
for
like
watching.
Billy Joe Kane. Billy Joe Kane said, I subscribed here for you guys. Thank you, Billy Joe Kane. We love you. Get over to Rokfin and subscribe. Johnny, anything
Rokfin's
else?
improving every day. I heard that they're in a beta testing mode for an Android app.
Here you go.
Which I just recently converted from iPhone to Android. And I like it better, actually.
Fred Edward, too, you know.
But, yeah, so they're going to be coming out with an Android app. They listen to us for the Super Ray, and that's building the platform even more. You know, that's helping build the platform.
By the way.
And Pasta steals my ideas.
And they both steal my ideas.
Everybody's stealing each other's idea here.
It's a collective consciousness.
Yeah, we
okay?
do. It is a collective consciousness because
God.
it's floating in the air. We're constantly working 24/7. I got to tell you, working with my partners, it's been a blessing. The Majorcas over here, I love them because, constantly 24/7 we are working. Our spare time is in the movement, looking, reading, watching, finding out what's going on. We're dedicated to this, and we've been able to do it because of you out there. Really, I can't thank you enough watching us today and what you showed us today from everything we saw, from all the Super Ray donations to the Patreons, the new PayPals, people subscribing, people like Billy Joe Kane. Thank you so much. Really, you guys have touched my heart today.
Sticking it to the big man.
Stick it to the big man. For Pasta Jardula,
Fiorella,
Johnny Sue on those 1s and 2s.
Convo out. Happy hump day.
Fuck Alphabet!
Fam, it's Thursday.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
it's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Fuck Alphabet on Wednesday.
Happy fucking hump day. Put a hump in them.
All right, peace.
Bye.